Hi, I'm Claire and I'm going to talk you through a page today based in Songs of Songs, which is This is a Faceless Girl. So what is a faceless girl? Well, it's a way of drawing yourself, representing you, containing the elements that make you unique, the bits that make you you, and leaving out the bits which are quite tricky to draw, and frankly most people have. So faceless me's appear quite a lot through my Bible. This is me at New Wine, complete with my name badge. Me hiding in a safe place. And me being hugged by an angel. Another one of me with some hearts. And I also have used faceless versions of other characters in my Bible and other people. So these are my two daughters. This is Merida from Brave. And this is a lady who is dancing for Palm Sunday. So how do you draw a faceless girl? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to draw a circle. Now my circles are always rubbish, but there's a rough circle. And then you drop down a chin. I'm drawing it in pen so that it shows up, but you obviously wouldn't want to do that because you don't want that line across your chin. And then you need to think about the structure of a face. So you've got an imaginary line going from the top to the bottom in the middle, and then you need another one going across. And that is where your eyes would sit if you were going to draw eyes, or if you wear glasses, they'd be based around there too. And halfway between that line and the base of the chin is where the base of your nose would be. I'm rubbish at drawing noses, so they never appear in my faceless girls. Halfway between that line and the bottom of your chin again is where your mouth goes. So if you've got some lipstick on or always wear lipstick, that might be something you want to put in. And your ears sit between your eye line and your nose line, feeling nearly all the way, but probably not quite. And of course you need a neck, and you need some shoulders, and then you need some hair. So you need to think about the bits of you that make you you. Add your hair, glasses, jewellery that you always wear. Think about your favourite style of top, your favourite colour, because you can see a bit of that in it. This sheet has got a few more examples on it and talks you through the stages again, and this will be available to download on the Bible Art Journaling UK Facebook group. There's also a link to another video that I did which just goes into these in a bit more detail. So let's turn in our Bibles to Song of Songs 4 verse 7. It's a bit of an unusual book to choose to look at. It's a series of love poems between a young woman and her lover, but it also can be looked at as talking about God's love for humans and how he sees us. Chapter 4 verse 7 says, "You are altogether beautiful, my darling. There is no flaw in you," which is definitely how God sees us because of Jesus' death on the cross. Our sins are washed away, and when God looks at us, he doesn't see them anymore. But it also speaks about how God created me and loves me, broken and imperfect me full of doubts and anxiety and a need to control things, me who has wonky teeth, a big nose and worse hair thanks to lockdown than I'd like. And he loves me and wants to use me because of who I am and who he made me to be. So I've actually already prepped to this page. I don't usually prep unless I know something's going to bleed through, but I have on this one because I'm going to use Neocolour 2s, and they just behave a bit better and are a bit easier to smoosh on top of an already prepared page. So I applied Liquitex Matte Gel Medium, put a scrap paper underneath, put a thin layer working out from the middle to the edge, and then just let that dry, which is why it's gone a bit curly. And then we're going to draw the faceless me. So I want it to take up about half the height of the page. And I have to confess that I've subtly edited my faceless girl recently to reflect the lockdown hair. So let's have a look. Let's put a top on similar to the one I'm wearing today. The necklace as well. So I've got my about halfway down. I'm going to do my glasses. I can never quite remember what shape my glasses are, but as long as it's roughly the same. Sorry if you just heard my children in the other room. Then that's close enough. I'm not going to do a nose because, as I said, I hate doing those. I am going to do lips. So my nose would go about there, my lips are going to go there. As I was filming for YouTube today, I decided I'd treat you all to some lipstick and some makeup for I think the first time in 6 weeks. I'm actually going to thin that side of my face down a little bit as well. So I need some ears, because you can see my ears. And then my hair. So normally my hair is quite neat and short. Obviously now it's well overdue a haircut. You can see some tufty bits sticking out at the bottom. My fringe now covers most of one of my eyes, and I've taken to wearing sort of a bandana hairband thing as well. And my hair never does quite what I want it to, so I've stretched some of those bits out. Of course, this is your chance to make your face slightly thinner than you might, or to get rid of bits of you that you don't really like, or maybe to add in some bits that you really do want. Okay, so I'm going to go over the outline with one of my favourite pens. It's the Unipin Fine Liners. I really like these because they don't bleed through, and once they're dry they're waterproof, so you can use watercolours or a water medium over the top and it doesn't affect it. Have to be a little bit careful because obviously I've still got some sketching lines in here, so just to make sure that I'm going over the lines that I want to. Ooh, I went a bit wobbly there, never mind. And not the ones that I don't want to. I'm doing this quite quickly, and I'll probably try and zoom through this on the video, but you can take as much time as you need to, and yours will probably end up looking lots neater. There we go. So the other thing I'm going to do before I start to do my background is I'm just going to use a piece of washi tape that I've stuck onto my clothes and pulled off a couple of times so it's not very sticky anymore, to cover up the verse. I don't need all of it. Actually, I quite like having a bit of a raggedy edge on these coverings. Across a bit further. And this will just stop when I'm doing the background, that colour obscuring the verse. Now I really don't mind going over verses when I'm Bible journaling, but I know some people do. That's entirely up to you. So I'm going to use my Neo Colour 2s for the background. And I've chosen 3 of my favourite colours and then a grey. So I've got purple, cobalt blue, violet and grey. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scribble some blocks of colour onto the background. Doesn't really matter where I go, what I do, because then I'm going to use a water brush to blend those colours together. Might be that I have to go back in and add other areas, but we'll give it a try and see. Now, water brushes, if you've not discovered them already, are a genius invention because they save you having to take a pot of water out with you, or if you're journaling on the go at church or something, because the water is in the barrel. And this one's gone a bit disgusting and old, but it still works perfectly fine. The other thing that you need, get that scrappy piece of paper back, is just a scrap of paper so that you can use it to clean your brush between colours if you want to. So a little bit of a squirt, a little bit of squeeze even to get the water flowing, and you can see they're just starting to smoosh off the page. So I'm going to go over and do the greys first, just because then I don't have to clean my brush as much and waste all of that lovely colour. It doesn't matter if I touch one of the edges of one of the other colours, because actually I'm going to create a real smooshy background where all the colours sort of merge into one. Get that out of the way. Be a bit careful when you're going up next to your face, because obviously you don't want that to be too grey. I'll stick another piece of scrappy paper just underneath that one to stop my colours going over the edge and onto a different page. There we go, nearly there. So I'm just going to go back in with my water brush, and if there's anywhere where I think it's a bit of a harsh line, I'm just going to blend that out a bit more. I love the way that the Neo Colour 2s mix together and you end up creating some different colours that you'd not really put on the page. Because they're water soluble, even if once this is dry, there are some elements that I don't like, I can always go back in and reactivate it using my water brush again. So I'm going to give that a quick dry. Using my trusty heat gun, just to make sure that's ready for the next stage. Quick dry on the back as well. That's sometimes the easiest way to see which areas are still wet. Over that way. That's pretty good. Now the other thing I forgot to do before I did that was to rub out my lines, so I'm going to do that now before I fill in colour on me. Get rid of that bit of washi tape as well. I've just spotted a line I should have done. Pen. Okay, so I'm going to add in just this sort of line above my ear there, otherwise my hair doesn't go anywhere. So again, using my Neo Colour 2s, I'm going to colour in my face. One of the things I love most about the Neo Colour 2s is that it's actually got a pretty good skin colour in there. So I'm going to use Salmon, it's called, for the vast majority of my skin. I'm just going to add the line down there as well for the rest of my shoulder. You can always, if you've not put quite enough down, you can always use your paintbrush to pick it up off the end of the crown as well. Okay, that's working a bit better. Spread out some of that, otherwise I'm going to look like I've got a really sunburnt shoulder. Okay, and I'm also going to add just a little bit of the ochre colour and the pink, just to sort of even out the skin tone a little bit, so maybe some pink on my cheeks. I don't think anybody's got perfect salmon skin colour everywhere, have they? And then this ochre, you don't need much of this one, it goes quite a long way. And otherwise you'll end up looking a bit too yellow. Just with some sort of shadows and that contrasting colour, it works really well. Okay, what other colours do I need? So I need to do the colour of my hair. Now my hair is quite a dark brown, but I usually sort of layer it up a little bit using a couple of different ones. I won't add in the greys today. So starting off with that brown, which I think is called brown. Yeah, literally called brown. So if I just go in straight away with the black, it's not going to have any variety in the colour. And again, not everyone has uniform black all over hair, probably unless it's come out of a box. Okay, and I'm going to add some raw umber, which is another dark brown kind of colour. I'm not bothered to dry it in between coats because I want those colours to mix. I'm just going to give it a quick blast with the heat gun before I go back in with the black. Okay, actually I'm going to colour all over with the black. Fiddly bits having put that bow in my hair, but that's fine. And again, I can always go back in afterwards and add another layer of the black if I wanted to, or blend out some lines a bit further. Also try and keep my brush moving in the direction of the hair would grow, particularly in my across my fringe, across my face. So the hairband I've got in today is black and white spots. I think just to make life easier, I might just make it just black. Because you can use a bit of creative license like that. So what else do I need to do? I need to do my glasses. So again, I'm going to use the cobalt blue. Actually, I'm also going to use a little bit of ultramarine because my glasses are quite thin. I'm just going to pick it up with the brush and paint it straight in. I love the vibrant colours that these near colour 2s give you. And I find that those pop even more if you use it on top of a prep of some sort, like Liquitex Matte Gel Medium or a white gesso or a clear gesso. Obviously my top is also quite a bright blue, and my necklace, so while I've got those colours, Colour those in. And oh, put the wrong one back. A little bit of the ultramarine as well. As I said, because I knew it was a special occasion and I was going to be filming this, I've even put lipstick on. So I'm going to use the purple colour I used in the background just for my lips. Which I actually think is quite a scaringly good match. Okay, so I'm going to give it a bit of a dry again, and then we'll have a look at doing some lettering. Now with lettering, the most useful tip I think I've ever heard is to start in the middle of a word or the words that you want to put on a line, because that way you make sure that you've got enough space for it all. So the most important word I think for the passage that we're going to use, "You are altogether beautiful, my darling, there is no flaw in you," is beautiful. So I'm going to do that in a slightly different font to the rest of the letters so that it stands out. So beautiful has got 9 letters, and the middle letter is going to be the T. So if I just do a little cheaty fold, just really gently, then I've got a line that shows me roughly where halfway is. And that's where my T is going to go. Now I'm doing it in pencil first, because if something goes wrong, you can rub pencil out. Obviously things still go wrong in journaling, and that's part of the fun of it, but there are things you can do to minimise your risks. So I'm also going to just go back and all of the downward strokes that I made when I was doing my cursive writing, I'm just going to thicken, which turns it into like a fake calligraphy kind of a font. There we go, make sure I cross my T and dotted my I. And then I'm going to work from that baseline, I'm going to work up and then down again to make sure that my spacing is roughly the same. So, you are altogether beautiful. I don't think I can fit more than altogether on a line. And E is the middle letter of that one. So this time I'm doing a bit more of a sort of jaunty letter. Is that even a word? So they're slightly irregular sized, and all sat in a straight line. And I'm going to add a dot everywhere that I would put my pen on or take my pen off the page, apart from where I'm crossing the T or on an O, because they're quite tricky. And just by adding that little detail, turns it from writing into a font, really, doesn't it? So then I want U and R on the line above. So again, using the E as my middle and the T from underneath, working out U, R, and then adding in those dots. Now I know I'm not going to have enough space for "You are altogether beautiful, my darling, there is no flaw in you." So I think I'm going to leave out my darling and move on to "There is no flaw in you." So I've got probably space for another 2 lines underneath. So let's go for "There is no" in one big in one line. So the space, the halfway point in that one would be the space between there and is. You quite often see me sat while I'm journaling, counting letters out on my fingers so that I can work out where the midpoint is. It just gives it that bit of balance. And then for floor in U, the midpoint would be the I of in. I also get quite good at spelling words backwards. Okay, so I'm happy with where my letters are lying on the page. So the other thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my Unipin pen again to go over the top. And with the dots on the end, you can leave them open, you can colour them in, it's entirely up to you. You could do a mixture of the two if you really wanted to. Hurt my hands. I'm nearly done with the letters. Okay, you're altogether beautiful. There is no flaw in you. So there are a couple of things that I need to do just to finish off the page. So obviously I need to make sure it's completely dry. I'm going to outline the verse that we've looked at. I'm going to add the date on the bottom. And then once I'm completely sure that that's all dry, I will I will rub off the pencil marks to just make sure it's all nice and clean. But there we go, there's our page. So remember to have a go yourself. Remember that God sees you as beautiful and flawless, even the bits that you don't like, the bits that you don't love. God loves all of that. He loves you because of those things, not in spite of them. Hope you've enjoyed creating your Faceless Girl and doing a page together. I'd really love it if you shared some of your things, some of your creations onto the Bible Art Journaling UK Facebook group. I'd love to have a little look and see what you've done. Hope you you've enjoyed it.